Oh, dudes, do I have a story for you? No one has asked either the president or the vice president about the deranged statements from Netanyahu or the Israeli government. So far, they've just been making these statements and the administration has just ignored it. Up until now, because Kate Couric interviewed VP Harris and asked her directly. And credit to Couric, because VP Harris tries to dodge the question multiple times and she presses her. And that question being about aid. You can say all the flowery shit you want, but when it comes down to the bottom line, it's about money. It's about the aid that we're giving them unconditionally. So let's watch Couric ask her the questions and watch her dodge them, and then we'll talk about it.
To protect innocent civilians. We've been very clear, humanitarian aid must flow. From day one, I will tell you, one of my areas of priority included, let's think about the day after, because we must stay focused on an eventual two-state solution.
Well, having said that, I want to tell you something which I'm sure you're well aware of, that Bibi Netanyahu, Prime Minister Netanyahu, recently said. He rejected U.S. calls to scale back Israel's military action in the Gaza Strip or to support a Palestinian state after the war. He even said that Israel, quote, must have security control over the entire territory west of the Jordan River, which includes Gaza. So given those positions, how can you possibly come together? How can the U.S. and Israel come together to solve this? And should aid to Israel be conditional?
So I'll start with the principles that we are applying to this discussion, which we've been very clear with the Israeli government about. One, as it relates to the day after, there should be no reoccupation of Gaza. There should be no changing of the territorial boundaries of Gaza. That the Palestinians are entitled to, in equal measure with Israelis, security and prosperity.
Doesn't sound like Bibi Netanyahu agrees with that.
We're the United States of America. I'm telling you our position. And we take our role in this discussion very seriously. There may be disagreements. That doesn't mean we're going to change our mind about the principles that are important to be applied to this process in terms of what a day after should look like. And those principles remain consistent. We believe very strongly, I believe very strongly, Palestinians are entitled to dignity and self-determination.
Okay, pause for a second. Notice how she says multiple times, we've been very clear. Bro, it doesn't matter how clear you've been if he's just not listening and you're still gonna give them all the money they want. That's like a parent saying to their kid who keeps breaking the rules, we've been very clear with them that they're gonna be grounded. Are you following through on it? No, I'm still letting them go out, but we've been very clear. Your clarity doesn't mean shit if there aren't strings attached to it.
We believe there must be a two-state solution for the sake of the stability in the region. We believe very strongly as a first principle, Israel must be secure. That Hamas must not be in a position to commit terrorist acts against innocent people or the people of Israel in particular.
So should aid, Madam Vice President, be conditional? If the Prime Minister of Israel is stating this, should that aid not come if there's not that kind of flexibility that you're seeking?
We are right now in a position of negotiating with Congress to follow through on a commitment we made for aid. And we are taking it one day at a time in terms of what is happening in the region and how we are addressing the issue. But that's where we are right now.
So I don't feel like you really answered my question.
I think I did.
But do you think it should be conditional? I know you're carrying out.
That's not our position right now.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Always talk about it like we're helpless. Oh, we're really trying to work with the Israeli government, trying to tell them to minimize harm to civilians, to let aid in. Stop talking about this like we're helpless. The United States could put a stop to this right now. Israel is a client state. They're a welfare state on our dime. If we wanted to, we could stop the aid to them right now, and they would not be able to do anything without our money. So VP Harris is all, we want to look at the day after. We want a two-state solution. Cool story. But if you're not going to condition aid on any of those things, then why would he listen? I don't know why, whether it's her or John Kirby or Antony Blinken or Jake Sullivan, all think that they can fool us by using flowery language and trying to appear strong. We've been very clear with Bibi Netanyahu. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. We're working really hard to make sure that they don't harm civilian casualties as they pass 30,000 that they've killed. Your words don't mean shit. You can sit there and do the we see you, we hear you. But unless you're willing to put strings attached to the aid that we give them, it doesn't mean shit. And the administration doesn't seem to understand that we notice that. That she thinks if she sits there and just says a bunch of shit that sounds good, that we're just gonna go, oh, okay, sounds good. No, the question that matters, the only question that matters is, are you going to condition the aid? If you don't condition the aid and tell them, we're not giving you this money unless you do this, this, and that, then they're not going to. And this whole word salad that you just created is absolutely fucking meaningless. list. And at the end of the day, they don't give a shit. They don't really care about a two-state solution. They never have. That's just a talking point that they use in the West. But if you actually go and look at Israeli politics over the last 30 years, they have not believed in a two-state solution at all. And they've blocked negotiation and blocked any type of discussion of the Palestinians having their own state for years. So this is all just bullshit rhetoric. They don't care. If they actually cared about stopping the carnage that the Israelis are inflicting on the Palestinians day in and day out, they would condition the aid. Think about how quick they are to condition aid when it comes to a poor person living in America. Oh, you need food stamps for a little bit so that you can feed your children that don't have any? Well, you gotta jump through this hoop, that hoop. You gotta go to a job training program. You gotta do this. They make American citizens who are poor jump through 500 hoops to get the aid that they condition in order for an American to get SNAP. But if you're Israel, you can get $4 billion plus a bunch of weapons that didn't even get authorized through Congress to continue your genocide. And then the administration will trot out their useless talking points about how we're really trying. We're telling them to stop. Well, are you going to condition aid on any of those things since the belligerent leader of Israel is saying no? No, we're not. No, we're not. We're just going to keep giving them everything they want. You could have just said that at the beginning of the interview and that would have answered all the questions and you could have saved us your faux concern and principles about the Palestinians. The only way, the literal only way that the Israelis are going to be reined in is if America cuts their funding and continuing to give this radical regime all the money that they want with no strings attached. You are signing Palestinian death warrants. Let's just be clear about that.